Hello, welcome back to the channel with me, Moist Baldy, because we all have a moist baldy, don't we? Today I want to talk about computers. In the world of home computers, there are two types of people, I think. Those that just want a nice computer that feels nice to use, and they don't mind paying a bit over the odds for it. That's the Apple people. And then there are the PC people that say, a PC gives you more performance for less money, whey, GTX 3090, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, that brings me on to today's car, which is, of course, the Volkswagen Golf GTI, the new one. Is it an Apple Mac?
Yes, I think the Golf GTI has always been the Mac of hot hatches because it's always been quite expensive and not giving you as much performance as its rivals, and this is the new Mk8 version. Is it like a Mac? Is it something that you're going to buy for your mum and she's going to phone you at 6 PM every Sunday evening asking you how to install her favourite Sudoku game? Well, let's find out. Let's start with the looks. It looks like a Mk8 Golf. That's literally a surprise to no one, but you've got this illuminated red GTI grille thing. You've got LED matrix headlights, the same off my old Touareg as standard. And it's worth pointing out that this is pretty much a basic GTI. It's got blue paint, which is a 600 quid option, and it's got a 500 pound tracker fitted to it. Yes. This is a 36 grand car, so DSG one. It's got 245 horsepower. If you didn't have the paint or the tracker, it'd be 35 grand. And the manual Bogo one is 33,500 pounds. So these are all relatively big numbers. And it is worth mentioning that this is the very basic one. This is the iPad that can't use a pencil. And I don't know, it's the one you buy for your mum who wouldn't know an OLED screen if it sat on her face. Because there's a Club Sport coming, and there's an R coming, and there might be a TCR coming. Entry-level Golf GTI, quite like it. I think it looks quite nice. Let's go around the back and I'll show you how it looks GTI round there as well. At the back, there's a huge surprise of the fact it looks exactly as you would imagine a Golf GTI to look at the back, except it's got this GTI badge right in the middle. I know lots of people don't like that. You've got the exhaust pipes on either side. It's a classic Golf GTI, isn't it? The boot space is the same as the normal Golf. It's 374 litres and oh, it's got a huge hole where the spare wheel would be if you didn't want to get stuck when you get a puncture. That's actually quite useful. I'll take that. Yeah. So far, so very, very Golf. And yes, I think I have excelled at picking the most horrible place to film a video. Go me. In terms of rear seat practicality, it's still a Golf, so it's still quite nice. My knees just about fit there, and this is all squishy anyway, so that actually isn't annoying. My feet fit under the seat, and you've got these two weird pockets here, which is a bit like you're walking around with your hand in someone's bum pockets on their jeans, possibly in prison, I don't know. But I guess you can store your mobile phone, or your kids can store their resentment of your parenting techniques in there. Speaking of which, how about this hat? I think this is my daughter's, I'm not sure it really suits me. Shall I do the rest of the video with this hat on? I think it looks pretty dope. Oh, should point out, obviously it's got tartan seats because it's a Golf GTI, and that's the past that we can't let go of. Next. Speaking of the past, you get the sense that the designs at Volkswagen were dismayed when they had to use the very minimalist button-free interior of the Mk8 Golf, because the automatic gear knob is teeny tiny and you can't possibly put the golf ball dimples, so synonymous with Golf GTIs, on that. So yeah, that is just a little USB stick to change gear. Engine start button, steering wheel flat bottom with haptic feedback buttons on it, not real buttons, digital screens, blah blah blah. I'm going to grab the camera and give you more an in-depth look at those. And only got USB-Cs. USB-Cs? We've only got USB-Cs, not USB 52s. Bombing Vietnam. That's probably the best, isn't it? You have got a wireless charger down here, and it says Golf down there, and it's got a little blue light to show you that. 12 volt there, a wireless charging thing for the key, a clever cup holder with a button, and that's about it. It's very nice, it feels very quality. This is probably squidgy. Let's do the wanker poking test. Oh yes, I love the interior of this car because it gives way to my pushes. It makes me feel strong. That's basically what that's about, isn't it? It's a show of force and dominance over the car. Well, I'm reading too much into this. Right, infotainment.
Right, it's worth pointing out as I clamber in that you've still got felt line door pockets so stuff doesn't rattle around. turn the car on, it's going to bong at me. You've got a digital dashboard here, which you can change things on using this. These are, I don't know, they're a bit of a faff to use on the move, to be honest. You'll note it has a heated steering wheel. However, it doesn't have heated seats. It'll take you 15 hours to find that, because as with all modern Volkswagen stuff, I can't actually, look, I can't adjust the air conditioning because the car's still booting up. If it had physical buttons, I'd be able to do that. Admittedly, you can put maximum windscreen and rear window heaters on there, but look, it's still booting up. How long have I been in this car and I can't adjust the aircon? That's a little bit annoying, especially in winter when you just want to start defogging it. I still can't get into the aircon. There we go. So, as with the Cupra Fermenter that I reviewed the other day, it's got some nicely named modes, but you can just put classic climate control on and use all that. It's fine, the sat nav and everything is okay, but my bugbear with this is still that I rest my hand here, especially, you know, you brace your hand on there when using a touchscreen, because a touchscreen is not the best way to control an infotainment system in a car safely, is it? No. So yeah, you rest your hand on here, but this is actually fake, oh god, this is fake buttons for the stereo and the temperature. It's just annoying still. I don't know if you can see, but that's the little Golf thing I spoke about earlier. Right, anyway. Right, we're going to go and drive the car now, but I'm just going to show you driving modes. You change them using that button down there, and then the touchscreeny thing activates up here. You can customize individual, but what is quite interesting is that I bloody pressed the wrong thing. If you press this, you can customize individual mode. So far, so normal. However, it says you can adjust between comfort and sport mode on the dampers. This car doesn't have adaptive dampers. However, I've just spoken to someone at Volkswagen and they say this is just the same software on a car with and without adaptive dampers. So that does nothing in this car, even though it looks like it should. Fun fact, I think some YouTubers have probably got that wrong. Ha! Right, let's go and drive it. I'm going to stop whittering on. Right, let's go for a drive in the new Mk8 Volkswagen Golf GTI then. You put your foot on your brake, you press the big silver start button, and it's got a sporty burble. How about that? This car doesn't have any fancy sports exhaust or anything. Foot on the brake, into drive. Let's go for a poodle. Steering is reasonably light, it's not too heavy. It's got a little bit of sporty weight to it. Those of you with an eagle eye will notice that, oh my god, it's a bit bumpy this road. That's not really the car. The eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that I'm driving this wearing walking boots, and you'll be saying, oh my god, why don't you have ostrich leather slippers blessed by the Pope of driving himself? And because it's muddy, frankly, and I think driving shoes are for a certain type of person that I don't want to be friends with. I've actually driven a Ford GT wearing these walking boots on a track. The new Ford GT with the V6 and the yellow paint and the black stripes and all that kind of stuff. Right, enough nonsense. It's wet. This has a mechanical front differential that's electrically controlled. It's the VAQ Plus thing that Volkswagen Group's had for a couple of years. It's also got XDS, which is like the differential by braking on each wheel. This is a wet junction. I wonder what I'm going to do. Accelerate like a child. Right, there's a gap in traffic. Right, yes, 245 horsepower and 317 Newton meters of torque from basically 1600 RPM mean this is still a fast car despite being the baby GTI. What you also notice though is that the traction control system cuts the power incredibly smoothly. Back in the day of the Mark 6 and the Mark 5 GTI, you just got this horrible banging from the front axle when you spun the wheels up. This is just smooth, the light flickers and you understeer into a hedge. No, you don't. So yeah, well done. If you've got any rattles that you can hear in this video, by the way, as usual, it's my unladen baby seat. Right, we're going to get on some fast roads and we'll see what this is like. The steering is very accurate, it's very easy to drive like a Golf, but it's quick. It is quick. 245 horsepower isn't very much in the world of hot hatch power willy waving. This is one that's just come out of an ice tub. The ride is pretty good on these passive dampers. They're pretty well judged. I'm not being jolted out of my seat over bumps. I've been ferrying the family around in this and no one has complained about the ride quality. Apart from my 21-month-old daughter, who obviously says, oh, the secondary ride quality could be better, but she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's a baby who has learned some very weird phrases as her first words. Okay, I've talked a lot about, you know, this being a Mac. Is it fun to use like a Mac? There's a corner here. Flip it down, third gear. Oh, there's a massive puddle. I can't go around this corner very fast. I will aquaplane into a van, Citroen Berlingo. In terms of stats, 0 to 62 comes up in 6.3 seconds, and top speed is limited to 155 miles an hour. It's not slow. Right, I'm going to put it into sport mode. Press the button, that's not really a button. Hey, sport mode. Coming from a 40 limit into a 60 limit on a fun, twisty road. Let's go. No torque steer. Wouldn't really expect that from a Volkswagen car. Steering has weighted up. It's piping in a fake engine noise, but it's not a terrible one. Right. The chassis isn't, I don't know, it's not going to give you any or much lift off oversteer, but you can adjust it on the throttle by lifting in the middle of a corner. It is wet today, and it's not having much trouble putting its power down. This is fun. It's fast. It's just the kind of car that flows with the road. It's not hammering off bumps or anything like that, right? Trail brake into a corner. Yeah, got a little bit of movement from the back. Yeah. What you need to know is that the Golf GTI is still pretty much an unbelievably quick cross-country car without any fuss or terror. That might mean it's not as fun as something like a Civic Type R, but actually, on the road, I think this is a better compromise of handling and ride quality. Okay, had a bit of a jolt from the traction control there. But yeah, it's a really good car. I'm quite excited to drive the Club Sport because that's basically replacing the old Golf GTI TCR. When I drove the old TCR on wet Welsh roads, and my god, it was quick and it was fun doing little four-wheel drifts around some corners. So hey, stay tuned for that. But if you do just want a good family car that's also a hot hatch, this is pretty good. Right, enough waffle, back to you Tim for a proper outro, back in a muddy lay-by.
So in conclusion, the Volkswagen Golf GTI is still very much the Mac of the hot hatch world because it's quite expensive and less powerful than the competition. If you're a PC person, probably want to go and buy something like a Honda Civic Type R because it is more exciting to drive, is more powerful, and it's actually a bit cheaper than this, and it's roomier as well. So why should you buy the Golf GTI? Well, if you want a Golf GTI, you kind of want a Golf GTI. Nothing else is going to do the job for you. It's got a premium feel that basically nothing else has. It's easy to live with, it's easy to use, it's family friendly, and it's quite understated. And for some people, that's quite important. There's a fly on my camera, but I'm going to keep going. So yeah, that's kind of what I think of the Golf GTI. Unsurprisingly, it's a Golf GTI. Be interesting to try the Club Sport when that comes out in a month or two's time, because obviously more power, sharper handling, probably a bit more fun in the old chassis department as well. But anyway, very good car. Volkswagen hasn't messed it up, if you can live with the infotainment system and the price and the fact I'd probably rather have a Civic Type R. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you've enjoyed this. Even if you haven't, say something nice, it makes me feel good. And hit my bell. I'll see you next time for more Tim Rohde Drive stuff. Turds. I should do some merch with turds written on it, shouldn't I? Anyway, laters.